Here's a complete rephrasing of your text in American English, focusing on clear, engaging language and proper English grammar and pronunciation considerations. Unveiling Ancient Secrets, the Turin Papyri. Imagine traveling thousands of years back in time to ancient Egypt, a land shrouded in mystery and intrigue. Have you ever wondered how the ancient Egyptians recorded their history? Or perhaps if they understood Earth's geology before anyone else? Did they possess a secret history that remains hidden, or even art depicting their daily lives, including what we might consider explicit today? What about the ancient aliens theory some people connect with this civilization? And what was the earliest recorded labor strike in history? All these questions and more find their answers within Egypt's hidden treasures. The Turin Papyri, hidden Egyptian treasures that will mesmerize you. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of the Turin Papyri. These aren't just old pieces of paper, they're an invaluable treasure housed at the Egyptian Museum in Turin, Italy. These papyri open doors to over 3,000 years of magnificent Egyptian civilization, offering an extraordinary window into the written culture of ancient Egypt. We're talking about a vast collection of manuscripts, comprising around 700 to 800 complete or reassembled manuscripts, plus more than 17,000 to 20,000 fragmented pieces. Just imagine the amount of historical, geographical, and cultural information and riches that can emerge from such ancient documents. These papyri aren't all of one type. Their contents are incredibly diverse, including administrative, legal, literary, ritualistic, religious, magical, and even funerary texts, such as fragments of the famous Book of the Dead. Essentially, it's a complete library, but in papyrus form. The languages they were written in are also quite varied, including Ancient Egyptian, in hieratic and cursive hieroglyphic scripts, as well as Demotic, Greek, Coptic, and Arabic. This diversity reflects the intellectual richness and administrative complexity of ancient Egyptian civilization. To make this invaluable collection more accessible, the museum is currently developing the Turin Papyrus Online platform, TPOP. This will be an open-access repository, facilitating research and international collaboration, and making this information available to researchers and the public worldwide. Most of the Turin papyri were discovered and acquired in the early 19th century. Specifically, the King of Savoy obtained them in 1824 from Bernardino Drovetti, 1776 to 1852, who was then the French consul general in Egypt. Drovetti's agents discovered these papyri, believed to have been found in Deir el-Medina in Thebes between 1814 and 1821. Deir el-Medina was a village for the workmen responsible for excavating and decorating the royal tombs in the Valley of the Kings and the Valley of the Queens during the New Kingdom of Egypt. It's highly probable that many of the Turin papyri originated from this settlement and belonged to members of the royal tomb administration. When these papyri arrived in Turin, scholars found many of them, like the Turin King List, in a highly fragmented state. This was due to poor handling during transport. Such conditions highlight a significant challenge in Egyptology, the often destructive practices of artifact collection in the early days of archaeology. These practices prioritized obtaining artifacts over the meticulous preservation of their archaeological context. The fact that the King List, which may have initially been intact, was broken into hundreds of fragments due to poor transport conditions or rough handling underscores the direct link between collection methods and preservation of historical data. This historical context means that modern Egyptological research doesn't just involve deciphering ancient texts, but also meticulously reassembling them, a process that can impose its own challenges and uncertainties. It also emphasizes the ethical evolution in archaeology, moving from acquisitive practices to preservation-focused methodologies. The Turin Papyrus collection includes many crucial and unique texts. Among the most prominent are the Turin Papyrus map, considered the oldest known geological map, the Turin King List, the most extensive list of Egyptian monarchs, the Turin Judicial Papyrus, which documents the harem conspiracy, and the Turin Erotic Papyrus, offering a rare glimpse into humor and sexuality in ancient Egypt. Gold Maps and Earth's Mysteries, the Turin Papyrus map that changed history. Let's turn to one of the most significant papyri that will leave you amazed, the Turin Papyrus map, also known as the Gold Mines Papyrus. This isn't just any map, it's generally classified as the oldest surviving topographical map of significance from the ancient world, demonstrating their advanced understanding of the natural environment. This papyrus was discovered between 1814 and 1821 by Bernardino Dravetti's agents in Deir el-Medina. The map is currently preserved at the Egyptian Museum in Turin. When reassembled, the map measures about 2.8 meters long and 0.41 meters wide, although a new reconstruction in 1992 by Harrell and Brown suggested a shorter length of about 2.1 meters. A portion of the map, particularly the right side, is in poor condition, as it was the weathered outer surface of the papyrus roll when discovered. Initially, parts of the map were considered fragments of three separate papyri, Turin Papyri 1869, 1879, and 1899, before they were proven to be interconnected. The map depicts a 15-kilometer stretch of the Wadi Hammamat in Egypt's eastern desert, an area known for its Precambrian rocks of the Arabian-Nubian Shield. This map is unique not only as a topographical map, but also as the oldest known geological map, predating the next geological map by approximately 29 centuries. The map accurately portrays the confluence of Wadi Hammamat with Wadi Atala and El Cid, the surrounding hills, the Bekan stone quarry, and the gold mine and settlement of Bir Fawakir. The map features numerous annotations written in hieratic script, identifying all the depicted features, the destinations of the wadi roads, the distance between the quarry and the mine, the locations of gold deposits in the hills, and the sizes of the quarried Bekan stone blocks. Its geological accuracy is remarkable, showing the local distribution of different rock types: black hills for siliceous Hammamat stone, pink hills for Dokkan volcanics, Atala serpentite, and Fawakir granite. The colors used in the map correspond to the actual appearance of the rocks in the desert. The map also includes cultural features such as 4 houses, a temple dedicated to the god Amun, a stele of King Seti I, a water tank, and a brown spot that could represent either a mining waste dump or an agricultural area. Who created this map? A man named Amenhotep, who was the scribe of the tomb during the reign of Ramesses IV, 1156 to 1150 BCE, around 1150 BCE. This map was created for one of Ramesses IV's mining expeditions to Wadi Hammamat, aimed at obtaining blocks of Bekan stone, which they carved into statues of gods and kings. Amenhotep's authorship of the map is confirmed by his distinctive handwriting on the map and the texts signed by him on the papyrus's verso. Amenhotep possessed an unusual combination of scribal, cartographic, and artistic skills, along with a geological sense. It's likely that this map served as a visual record of the expedition for Ramesses IV or Ramessesnachte, the high priest of Amun in Thebes, who organized the expedition for the king, rather than simply a navigational roadmap, as it only covers a small portion of the route. The Turin Papyrus map can be considered a rudimentary geographic information system due to its clear distribution of features and its use of legends and contrasting colors. Its precise depiction of rock types and geological features makes it the oldest surviving geological map in the world. The top of the map points south, the source of the Nile, west on the right side and east on the left side, consistent with ancient Egyptian orientations. The Turin Papyrus map is more than just a topographical representation. It's a geological map that accurately depicts different rock types with corresponding colors. It's noteworthy that the scribe, Amenhotep, possessed a geological sense. This level of detail, alongside the map's purpose in quarrying expeditions, indicates a practical and observational approach to resource management. The fact that the next geological map wasn't created until 2,900 years later underscores the exceptional foresight and unique nature of this ancient document. This suggests that ancient Egyptian knowledge, particularly in areas like geology and cartography, was more advanced and applied than often believed. It challenges the perception that ancient civilizations focused solely on rituals or monumental construction, revealing a highly sophisticated understanding of their natural environment and its resources, driven by economic and administrative needs. This map is a powerful testament to their observational skills and their ability to translate complex environmental data into practical visual tools. Amenhotep is known not just as the scribe of the tomb, but as someone with an unusual combination of scribal, cartographic, and artistic skills, along with a geological sense. His distinctive handwriting is recognized by Egyptologists. This suggests that scribes were not merely copyists, but highly skilled professionals, often specializing in various fields, directly contributing to administrative, economic, and even scientific endeavors. The map's purpose as a visual record for the king further emphasizes the scribe's role in documenting and conveying complex information to the elite. This reveals a deeper understanding of the ancient Egyptian administrative and intellectual infrastructure. It indicates that specialized knowledge was highly valued and integrated into practical state functions, and that scribes were central to this system, acting as intellectual and technical experts in their own right, rather than simply practitioners of literacy. This challenges simplistic views of ancient scribes and elevates their status as crucial contributors to societal advancement. The Turin King List. Did aliens rule ancient Egypt? Now, let's move on to another papyrus that will really make you think, the Turin King List, or as it's also called, the Turin Royal Canon. This ancient Egyptian hieratic papyrus is believed to date back to the reign of Pharaoh Ramesses II, c. 1279 to 1213 BCE, although it may have been written later, perhaps even in the 20th dynasty. It was discovered by Bernardino Drovetti around 1818 to 1822 in Thebes and acquired by the Egyptian Museum in Turin in 1824. When this papyrus arrived in Turin, it was fragmented into many small pieces, over 160 fragments, some no bigger than a square centimeter, and possibly originally over 300 fragments. This extreme fragmentation makes accurate interpretation and reconstruction very difficult. Early reconstruction efforts included the work of Jean-François Champollion and Gustave Seyfarth, followed by Alan Gardner's study in 1959, and most recently a new reconstruction by Kim Ryholt in 2022, which included previously unused fragments and rearranged others. Despite all these efforts, about 50% of the papyrus is still missing, and the names and positions of many kings remain disputed. Interestingly, this papyrus was originally a tax record, and the King List was written on its blank verso. This secondary use suggests it may have been an administrative tool rather than a formal ceremonial document. This indicates that the Turin King List offers a more objective and comprehensive historical record from an ancient Egyptian perspective compared to other more politically motivated king lists. Its administrative origin gives it a higher degree of historical veracity for chronological purposes, making it an indispensable tool for Egyptologists in reconstructing ancient Egyptian history, particularly for fragmented or obscure periods. This highlights the importance of understanding the original context and purpose of ancient documents to assess their historical reliability. This papyrus is the most extensive list of kings compiled by the ancient Egyptians and forms the primary basis for most Egyptian chronologies before the reign of Ramesses II. Unlike other king lists, such as Abydos, Saqqara, Karnak, which were often ritualistic and excluded certain rulers, the Turin King List is a chronological list aiming to record all kings, including those who ruled for short periods, those who governed small regions, and even the Hyksos, foreign rulers, who were typically excluded from other lists. More importantly, it includes mythical kings such as gods, Ra, Geb, Osiris, Seth, Horus, Thoth, Ma'at, Heroeris, demigods, and spirits who preceded the human pharaohs, even providing their reigns in years, months, and days. The list originally contained 223 names, of which 126 survived, partially or wholly, and 97 names are lost. This king list is unique in its detail regarding reign lengths in years, months, and days. Its comprehensive nature, including short-reign rulers and foreign rulers, makes it an invaluable source for reconstructing Egyptian chronology, especially for periods like the Second Intermediate Period, which is characterized by chaos and confusion due to a lack of contemporary records. The list groups kings by family, which roughly aligns with the dynasties of Manetho's writings, but also by city of residence, suggesting that the concept of dynasties may not have been fully developed at the time of its writing. Although generally considered reliable, Egyptologists like Donald Redford have noted inconsistencies between the names on the list and those found on monuments, raising questions about its absolute chronological reliability for the pre-Ramesside period. The papyrus uses the name Hujefa, meaning illegible or damaged, for kings whose names were unreadable, illustrating scribal practices in dealing with incomplete records. The pre-dynastic section of the list, which includes gods and demigods, indicates extremely long reign lengths. Example, Ra around 10,242 BCE, Geb around 10,070 BCE. The Turin Papyrus estimates that the pre-dynastic era lasted 13,420 years, with a gap of 2,500 to 3,000 years between the pre-dynastic kings and the dynastic era. These figures are subject to ongoing academic discussion and research, and often require integration with archaeological evidence and climatic context. This king list is unique in its inclusion of pre-dynastic gods, demigods, and spirits with exceptionally long reigns. This differs from other king lists that omit such figures or periods. The explicit ancient Egyptian record of entities ruling for extended periods before humans directly fuels alternative history narratives that interpret these periods as literal historical epochs, often linking them to ancient aliens or advanced lost civilizations. The lack of contemporary records for these early periods and the fragmented nature of the papyrus itself create interpretive gaps that alternative theorists often fill with speculative explanations. This illustrates a significant impact of the Turin King List. Its unique content, particularly the mythical pre-dynastic section, serves as a primary textual basis for various alternative chronologies and ancient alien theories, despite these interpretations not being supported by mainstream Egyptology. The academic challenge lies in distinguishing between the ancient Egyptians' conception of their past, which included divine rule, and modern literal interpretations that project contemporary scientific or speculative frameworks onto ancient texts. This underscores the need for careful contextualization when discussing these historical documents. The Turin Erotic Papyrus: Satire, Sexuality, and Societal Interpretations. Oh my goodness! If you thought ancient Egyptians were always serious and serene in their statues, then you need to see the Turin Erotic Papyrus, Papyrus 55001, also known as the Turin Satirical Erotic Papyrus. This is an ancient Egyptian papyrus manuscript dating to the Ramesside period, around 1150 BCE. It was discovered around 1825 in Deir el-Medina. It measures 2.6 meters, 8.5 feet, long and 0.25 meters, 10 inches, wide, and is currently preserved at the Egyptian Museum in Turin. When discovered by the French scholar Jean-François Champollion, a pivotal figure in deciphering hieroglyphs, in 1824, he described it as a wildly obscene image that gave me a truly strange impression of Egyptian wisdom and composure. Due to its explicit content, it's rumored that the museum in Turin hid it for 150 years after its discovery. This papyrus consists of two main sections. The first third depicts animals performing various human tasks, described as satirical and comical, showing animals dressed in clothes, playing musical instruments, fighting, and driving chariots. The latter two-thirds contain 12 scenes depicting men and women in various sexual positions. The men are portrayed as dirty, bald, short, and corpulent, with exaggerated genitalia, not conforming to Egyptian beauty standards, which is considered a caricature of lower-class individuals. The women, however, appear in traditional erotic poses like ivy leaves, and in some scenes they hold objects traditionally associated with Hathor, the goddess of love, such as lotus flowers, monkeys, and sistra. Some scenes also include hastily written marginal notes expressing pleasure. Although often described as the world's first men's magazine or an example of ancient pornography, academic consensus, especially from Egyptologist Pascal Vernous, suggests it was not primarily intended for sexual arousal. Instead, the clear continuity between the animal section and the erotic section suggests it was meant to entertain aristocratic individuals by depicting absurd violations of social and aristocratic norms of behavior. The papyrus is considered comical and satirical, emphasizing the difficulty and awkwardness of the poses and caricaturing lower-class individuals. The high artistic quality and the expensive papyrus medium suggest it was produced for a wealthy audience. The initial shock and suppression of the papyrus illustrates a historical and cultural contrast between ancient Egyptian societal norms, as expressed in this papyrus, and 19th century European sensibilities. The academic interpretation that it was intended to entertain the aristocratic through absurd depictions of violations of aristocratic behavior norms and caricaturing lower-class individuals is a significant observation. This suggests a sophisticated form of social commentary, where the elite found amusement in observing or depicting the crude behaviors of others, in contrast to their idealized self-representation in official art. This implies that ancient Egyptian society, particularly its elite, possessed a nuanced sense of humor and social satire that extended to sexual themes. This challenges the common perception of ancient Egyptian art as solely serious, religious, or formal, revealing a more complex and human dimension. This papyrus is a rare example of how ancient art could be used for entertainment and social commentary, offering a unique perspective on class distinctions and leisure activities among the Ramesside elite. The Turin erotic papyrus is the only known erotic manuscript to survive from ancient Egypt. Depictions of coitus were not generally part of official Egyptian art, although rudimentary drawings have been found on pottery shards and in graffiti. This papyrus offers a unique glimpse into sexual attitudes and artistic expressions in ancient Egypt, challenging modern misconceptions that ancient Egyptian art was devoid of sexual themes. Other notable Turin papyri: palace intrigues and the first labor strike in history. In addition to the map, the King List, and the erotic papyrus, the Turin collection includes many other important papyri that offer valuable insights into various aspects of ancient Egyptian life. Among these, the Turin Judicial Papyrus, also known as the Harem Conspiracy Papyrus, catalog number 1875, stands out as a unique document. This manuscript contains a judicial text detailing the trial of a group of conspirators who attempted to assassinate Pharaoh Ramesses III, c. 1187 to 1157 BCE. Queen Ti was the main instigator, and in collusion with other women from the pharaoh's harem and high-ranking government officials, she tried to place her son, Pentawere, on the throne instead of the appointed heir. Although the papyrus doesn't explicitly mention Ramesses III's death, forensic examination of Ramesses III's mummy confirms a deep cut to his throat, suggesting the assassination was successful. The papyrus details the charges against each conspirator and the punishments they received, which were often death sentences, where conspirators were permitted to take their own lives. This document is unprecedented in ancient Egypt for addressing such a heinous desecration, yet it uses circuitous expressions to avoid direct statements about the king's death or the conspirators' executions, illustrating a practice of circumlocution. Furthermore, the names of some conspirators were brutally distorted, e.g. evil in Thebes instead of good in Thebes, a form of damnatio memoriae. Another prominent document is the Turin Strike Papyrus, catalog number 1880, which records the earliest known labor strikes in world history, occurring during the reign of Ramesses III. While royal monuments typically present an idealized image of pharaonic power, the Turin Judicial Papyrus, Harem Conspiracy, and the Turin Strike Papyrus offer rare glimpses into internal dissent, political conspiracies, and labor unrest within ancient Egypt. The detailed account of the conspiracy against Ramesses III, including the use of mutilated names as a form of damnatio memoriae, reveals the fragility of royal authority and the mechanisms of control and punishment. The Strike Papyrus, documenting worker protests, provides evidence of social agency and economic grievances among common people. This suggests that the Turin Papyrus collection is essential for constructing a more comprehensive and accurate understanding of ancient Egyptian society, moving beyond the grand narratives of pharaohs and temples. It illustrates that internal conflicts, judicial processes, and socioeconomic challenges were integral parts of daily life, offering valuable counterpoints to official state propaganda. These documents are vital for studying the complexities of ancient governance, law, and social dynamics. The collection also includes important funerary texts such as the Book of the Dead of Ka and the 18-meter-long Book of the Dead of Ufonk. Additionally, there are administrative documents from the Old Kingdom, other judicial papyrus, different from the Harem Conspiracy Papyrus, and diverse Demotic, Greek, Coptic, and Arabic manuscripts, including deeds, contracts, and receipts. Myths, folkloric narratives, and unofficial interpretations. Do the Turin Papyri hide secrets? While academic consensus relies on rigorous archaeological and philological methodologies, popular culture and alternative history theories often interpret ancient Egyptian artifacts through different lenses. Ancient aliens and extended chronologies. As we've learned, the Turin King List includes mythical kings, gods, demigods, spirits, with exceptionally long reigns, e.g. Ra around 10,242 BCE, Geb around 10,070 BCE, and estimates that the pre-dynastic era lasted 13,420 years. This content provides a basis for such speculative interpretations. These theories often propose that these gods were extraterrestrial beings, or that their long reigns indicate a different understanding of time or advanced technology. The Turin King List is unique in its inclusion of pre-dynastic gods, demigods, and spirits with exceptionally long reigns. The explicit ancient Egyptian record of entities ruling for extended periods before humans directly fuels alternative history narratives that interpret these periods as literal historical epics, often linking them to ancient aliens or advanced lost civilizations. The lack of contemporary records for these early periods and the fragmented nature of the papyrus itself create interpretive gaps that alternative theorists often fill with speculative explanations. This illustrates a significant impact of the Turin King List. Its unique content, particularly the mythical pre-dynastic section, serves as a primary textual basis for various alternative chronologies and ancient alien theories, despite these interpretations not being supported by mainstream Egyptology. The academic challenge lies in distinguishing between the ancient Egyptians' conception of their past, which included divine rule, and modern literal interpretations that project contemporary scientific or speculative frameworks onto ancient texts. This underscores the need for careful contextualization when discussing these historical documents. Folklore and popular narratives about secrets or hidden meanings of the papyri. Popular imagination often romanticizes ancient maps, portraying them as treasure maps. The Turin Papyrus map, explicitly depicting gold and silver mine locations and quarries, naturally fits this narrative. The mention of routes to the Red Sea port used for travel to the mythical land of Punt, a place of more gold, further enhances its appeal as a map to legendary riches. The Turin Papyrus map was a practical document for a mining expedition. However, in popular discourse, it is often envisioned as an ancient Egyptian treasure map. This transformation from a functional administrative tool to a folkloric subject is a common feature of ancient artifacts. The map's depiction of gold mines and routes to mythical Punt provides the causal link for these popular reinterpretations. The Greek myth of the Golden Fleece, potentially linked to Egyptian gold extraction methods using sheepskins, further illustrates how real ancient practices can inspire enduring legends. This suggests that the public perception of ancient artifacts is often shaped by romantic narratives and existing cultural archetypes, like treasure maps. While the map's scientific and historical significance, as the oldest geological map, is paramount to scholars, its hidden secrets, or treasure map aspect, resonates more widely. This highlights the challenge faced by Egyptologists in communicating the academic value of these discoveries to a broad audience, while acknowledging and contextualizing popular interpretations. As for the Turin Erotic Papyrus, its discovery provoked initial scandal and was later dubbed the world's first men's magazine in popular culture. This indicates a public fascination with its hidden or controversial nature. While scholarly interpretations suggest it was intended for satire and amusement, its explicit content itself invites speculation about deeper, possibly ritualistic or esoteric meanings in some popular narratives. It is crucial to distinguish between academically supported interpretations, which are based on rigorous linguistic, archaeological, and historical analysis, and speculative claims that often lack empirical evidence or misinterpret ancient contexts. For example, while the Turin King List records mythical reigns, Egyptologists analyze these periods within the framework of ancient Egyptian religious and historical thought, not as literal records of alien visitations. The Turin Papyri in popular culture. History meets the screen. The Turin Papyri, especially the King List and the map, are frequently mentioned in academic literature and specialized books on Egyptology, cartography, and geology. Documentaries. The Turin King List is often featured in documentaries about ancient Egyptian chronology and the lives of the pharaohs. For example, the BBC documentary series Egypt 2005 covers Champollion's decipherment of hieroglyphs, who studied the Turin Papyri. Other documentaries discuss the Turin Papyrus map in the context of ancient cartography and geology. The Turin Erotic Papyrus is also the subject of documentaries exploring ancient sexuality. Literature and fiction. While direct references to specific Turin papyri in mainstream fiction are less common than general ancient Egyptian themes, the broader cultural impact of ancient Egypt, often rooted in such discoveries, is significant. Works like Jane C. Loudon's novel The Mummy, A Tale of the 22nd Century, draw inspiration from Egyptian themes, although they may not explicitly mention the Turin papyri. The Edgy Pop Cult project aims to document references to ancient Egypt in popular culture, including films, television series, comic books, and fictional literature. The appearance of the Turin Papyri in various forms of popular culture, from documentaries to public discussions, leads to increased public engagement and awareness of ancient Egypt. However, it also creates a tendency for simplification or sensationalism, as seen with the world's first men's magazine label for the erotic papyrus, or the confusion between the Turin Papyri and the Shroud of Turin. This illustrates a dichotomy between scientific accuracy and the demands of popular narrative. While popular culture plays a vital role in making ancient history accessible and exciting, it also carries the risk of perpetuating misconceptions or oversimplifying complex historical and cultural contexts. Egyptologists and museums face the ongoing challenge of leveraging public interest while ensuring the dissemination of accurate information and actively correcting common errors. This indicates a broader societal impact concerning how historical knowledge is consumed and interpreted outside academic circles. It's important to note that the Shroud of Turin is an entirely separate artifact, a linen cloth that some believe to be the burial shroud of Jesus Christ. The similarity in names can lead to public confusion, but it has no direct connection to the ancient Egyptian Turin Papyri. Collectively, the Turin Papyri represent an unparalleled archive of ancient Egyptian life, administration, history, and culture. They offer unique and often singular insights into aspects ranging from geological knowledge and cartography, Turin Papyrus map, to meticulous royal chronology, Turin King List, judicial processes and political conspiracies, Turin Judicial Papyrus, and social satire and sexuality, Turin Erotic Papyrus. Their value is immense for reconstructing the past and understanding the nuances of ancient Egyptian society. The Egyptian Museum in Turin continues to be at the forefront of efforts to preserve and study these documents. Projects like the Turin Papyrus Online Platform, TPO, are crucial for making the collection accessible to scholars and the public worldwide, facilitating collaborative research and the integration of new findings. Ongoing restoration efforts, such as the complete restoration of the Turin King List in 2022, continue to refine our understanding of these fragmented texts. Despite their age and fragmented state, the Turin Papyri remain dynamic sources of information, continuing to yield new insights through advanced research and interdisciplinary approaches. They are not merely relics of the past, but active subjects of ongoing discovery and reinterpretation, contributing to the constantly evolving narrative of ancient Egypt. What surprised you most about the Turin Papyri, and do you believe the conspiracy theories surrounding ancient Egyptian civilization? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.